The sense of anxiety derived, as Donna Haraway notes, from a rampant and overwhelming informatics of domination relates to notions of a new information reality. Excuse me. Simulation, sorry, science fiction, neo-imperialism, genetic engineering, surface, robotics, replication, artificial intelligence, Star Wars. This is the invasive and vigilant landscape that Barcodes implicitly explores with visual and interactive poems. However, imagination does not produce only monsters. Technology also allows the fulfillment of certain utopias. The cyborg metaphor presents the ideal vehicle for breaking categories and oppressive designations. Decoded by feminism, the cyborg metaphor, according to Haraway's reading, turns out to be primarily liberating, and I quote her. It means both building and destroying machines, identities, categories, relationships, spaces, stories, end quote. This approach is primarily ontological and relates to the new liberating mode, however anguished, that we are cyborgs, according to Haraway, that we are cybernetic entities in the terms suggested by her, by Haraway. The cyborg is a condensed image of both imagination and material reality. But is this truly the case? Are we all cyborgs? According to an also recent poll in cities with over 50,000 inhabitants from 11 Latin American countries, only 16% had a computer at home, while 19% used one in the office. This is a little bit old, but still the proportions are still valid. Another study establishes that the average number of internet users in Latin America now is 30.7%, against 52% in Europe and 74.2% in Canada and the USA. Women continue to be a minority of internet users, not right now actually. According to this data, 99.2 million male compared with 107 million women using internet here in the United States. In Spain, one of the leading countries in informatics, women have almost the same access to the internet as men, but just 42.6% are connected. This situation seems to be changing, given the high number of women enrolled in the fields of journalism and communication. Actually, it's not that true, because I have other data right here I can just explore. For example, I just read that doctorates in sciences in Spain, PhDs are now 53% women, but men are in the higher positions. They say higher positions of responsibility. They are 83%. 60% in Spain also are graduating now are women. Only 14% are professors. And pretty much it's the same in other countries in terms of the higher positions are 89% in France. Of male, and in Italy is 97%. The same in the United States goes in a similar direction. For example, there is a gap in terms of salaries for women in life sciences. The jobs pay and promotion is definitely a discrepancy with men, and in terms of salary, there is a $6,000 to $15,000 difference for exactly the same qualification. So this continues to be a problem. I have another indication from the United States. It's a little older, but it still is valid, I think. The imbalance is particularly extreme in the higher positions in internet companies. In 2001 in Silicon Valley, 30% of employees were women, and only 6% of American companies financed by venture capitalists had a woman as president. So considering that this is particularly relevant, considering also that women are the majority using the internet in this country, in the United States. So again, the situation seems somehow to be changing, not that much, given the high number of women enrolled in the fields of journalism and communication, but not so much in the fields of technology, where the premise of why are you going to become an engineer if you are going to marry? This is not my question, continues to limit options and preferences. The Spanish word for a female engineer, which is in Spanish ingeniera, was not accepted by my word processor until quite recently. The word didn't exist, and the program suggested correcting it to the masculine inflected word ingeniero. And I experimented just for fun with other kind of cliché words, excuse me, like cyborg, internauta, or nymphomano. Nymphomano will be male for nymphomaniac. The three words were classified as mistakes by my word processor. I tried the word ansiosa, anxious, and the electronic dictionary defined it as follows: nymphomana, nymphomaniac, now yes, lujuriosa, lecherous, ávida, sexual, lustful. Then the word ansioso, male for anxious, and the dictionary stated codicioso, greedy, covetous, afanoso, industrious, ambicioso, ambitious. In a technology dominated by men and by a misogynistic tradition used to reduce women to sexual objects, female cybernauts have a long way to navigate. Cyberfeminism presents itself as a healthy and visionary alternative, perhaps utopian, but occasionally uses problematic statements that point to ever-present Anglocentrism and to the dominant theoretical imperialism. An example is the Bitch Mutant Manifesto, the irreverent fan proposal, the cybernetic scribble for a new post-feminist consciousness. So what's the new millennium got to offer the dirty, motherless masses? Ubiquitous fresh water? Simulation has its limits. Are the artists of oppressed nations on a parallel agenda? Perhaps it is just natural selection? The creation of a new habit of adaptation in cyberspace. A selection that is artificial, conscious, Anglo-arrogant, that excludes the masses without a modern and without English, that excludes women without access, reproduces sequences that are imperialistic, capitalistic, neo-colonial, and that selects an elite of users with access and means, with money and formation, with options. The motherless masses are kept out of the redemptive banquet, from the alleged option of liberation through the internet, from this technospace in English that celebrates concepts of invisibility towards a virtual other that does not exist. These are manifestors of exclusion from a center with the illusion of margins that are told to be intermittent, exchangeable, and multiple. Effervescent matrix without heat or place, no entry.